Hi all, welcome back to more of The Other Side of the Hill, playing solo. This is part 46. So a couple of days went by, I think it's only a day actually, got a wee bit done. Not sure how much time I've got just yet, but I thought I'd start anyway. I get the feeling I might get called away pretty soon. So yeah, I just can't get this out of my mind. This leaving this like this. I've not watched back yet the part where I do it. I'm gonna cringe when I do that. Yeah, I'm kind of like the videos are all building up. I've just not had the chance to watch back. I think I got part 42 out there today sometime. So I've got 43, 44 and 45. Still to like watch back yet, which I still like to do. Anyway, Carlos has made a couple of comments on part 42. Not any mistakes, so that's the major thing. But anyway, he's got at the 20-minute mark. I think all the confusion you feel about the status of question generals stems from the fact you're placing the question generals cards aside. Yeah, I've been putting them up here, right? And I suppose what my concern was that the AG heads, I don't want to move their markers. So their markers just get flipped over to question. So that's fine. But their cards can still stay here in this pile. And then once I come to question them, I look here, I find the generals. Okay, I've got to go and look through this pile. I actually quite like the way I ended up doing it, to be honest. I did reply to Carlos saying that, yeah, I can see how all you've said works fine. To confirm a couple of things, when, let's just say this general was in an AG head, and he got questioned, and he also had to get removed because it was only one German army, that's the case we had the last time, he does indeed, as soon as he leaves, he goes back into available generals, right? So, and then I was thinking, well, how do I track that? So I was putting him in a pile up here with his marker. But again, all I need to do is put him back in that pile, and this is the box that you're meant to put all the generals that are questioned. Yeah, I mean, I would just find his counter and put it in there on the question side. And then come the command phase, I would look in here to see if anybody's questioned. And deal with the markers. And the same up here, he's questioned here, right? He's been activated. What should happen is his marker should be there, and he should be just in the activated box. I certainly, you know what? I don't know. I'm sort of quite liking the way I'm doing it. I'm not using these boxes up here anyway. I don't want a big clutter of counters in there. Now, I mean, I think I understood it that every general in the game should be in this box like that. I think that's my understanding of. We should have 30 markers in there at the start of the game, all face up like that. That seems a bit too much for me. That. Although Carlos is saying, like, if the general becomes questioned, you just bring them along here and put them in the box. Could it be that that's the only reason for that box? Maybe you do keep the other ones off board. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest. I quite liked the way I was doing it. My confusion was indeed that if it was a general that came... Now, where did he's here. I'm going to leave him here. Is that the right guy? Blaskowitz, yeah. I'm going to leave it. I think I might just stick with how I'm doing it, because, I mean, yeah, I've ended up with this here, and this has got to show... Well, hang on, is he still questioned? Who was that? Have I not... He's a dissident. Modal. Did he... I'm confused. I know I put that there on the question side. Have I just not removed his counter? Did he go away? Did Modal go away? I don't think he did he? Oh, he didn't. So, Modal must be in here, or possibly here, I suppose. It must have been activated, I think. Yeah, he's down there. He's in the activated box. But I'm showing him his question side. I think we must have... He shouldn't still be in his question side, I don't think. I think that should have been flipped over. And the reason I'm having to leave his marker here is because he's dissident. So I can't just chuck his marker back in the pile. I don't think he should be questioned, because if he was questioned, I would have him up here as well, because that's how I was doing it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Carlos seems to think that this is going to cause me confusion. And admittedly, my thinking wasn't right about these. Like I say, I was putting them there. But all I need to do is they need to come back here. Their marker would go in there. And again, whatever pile they're in, when they become questioned, if they succeed at their question, they just stay in the pile that they're in. They just either stay available, activated, or in command. So I don't necessarily need to have this. I might still stick by the way I'm doing it. That was only a confusing bit I had, but I see my error there. Yeah. I suppose what was sort of concerning me, and that gets to his the next part of this. He says, also, when a general loses his command, his card is returned to the available generals pile, and he can be chosen as a leading general in subsequent combats, even in the same segment. So, a general could go back to here, available. He could be questioned from his AG head situation, come back available, and become a leading general, even still while he's questioned. He carries on. Nothing in the rules prevents that. Embrace it when this mechanic happens to favour you. After all, if a high seniority general messes up your choice of leading generals, when he loses a command, it's only fair that you should be able to use a low seniority general when he loses his. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I didn't really quite finish his first comment. When a general is questioned, this card returns to and remains in the pile where it should be. Like I said, just one of them. We don't need this bar up there. And then where it should be. And you place his marker in the general's box with your player board on the question side. So basically, this guy would stay where he is, and this would go in there, like that. Like I say, I think I might continue the way I'm doing it. I might not. We'll see. Maybe come the next year and maybe try and do it the proper way. You do not need the card to remind you that a general is questioned. His marker will remind you when the command phase comes, whether it is on the map as an AG head, out there, or in the general's box of your player board. So, just, I don't know if you want to answer this question, Carlos, but should all the generals we put in here face up to start the game, and then you just pick from them there? That seems a bit of a clutter to me. Or should they just be off board? Like, I've got them, and any time one becomes questioned, you put it in there. I don't know. I'm sure it tells you in the beginning the rules for that. So I'll leave that there for now. Yeah, my confusion was that, but I was quite comfortable with the other stuff, to be honest. But anyway, so yeah, and nothing. He says nothing stops you from playing Festung Europa. I'm sure that means it's just the German version of Atlantic Wall. Festung Europa. So Europa stands for Atlantic, and Festung could be wall. Yeah, it could be, because these sectors are Festungs, aren't they? So it says nothing stops you from playing Festung Europa, even if you have no reduced armies in your force pool. But ideally, you want to maximise its effects, and the sequence of play allows you to do so, as you proved. Yeah, I made sure that I was going to have 3 reduced armies to be able to use that. And yeah, you're always going to do that. There could be a case, though, maybe, and I suppose that's what I just wanted to double check. Let's just say, for instance, you were only able to produce 2 reduced armies. Could you still play that card? Well, he's confirmed that you can, yeah. So that's good as well. So, okay, good stuff. Right, his next comment is, do not be too hard on yourself for forgetting to remove AG heads in excess. It is an easy rule to miss when you're focusing in combat, and that's why at the beginning of the command segment, players are asked to make sure that AG heads conform to the rules. Right, my reply to that is no, I insist on being hard on myself. I have to learn. Yeah, and as I'm sure, well, he knows as well as I do, that it's all very well reminding you in the command segment to check, but by the time you've had a combat and should have removed a general to the time you get to that command segment, you could have messed a lot of things up. Because a general, as we noticed, a general not being shouldn't be in an area anymore goes back to available, and then seniority takes effect, and then can affect other combats and depending on his seniority. So that's a problem with that. Yeah, I mean, some folk, I'm sure, I get the feeling a lot of folk will make that mistake and probably just carry on. I'm just a fussy bugger. So, but anyway. Right, and he finishes off with, if you allow me some strategic advice, a moment usually comes in the game, as it did in the war, when you will have to shift to the defensive because allies are just too strong to attack them, and you cannot afford the attrition associated with advance. When this happens, it's entirely up to you, but at some point you will need to change the way you think and avoid offensive actions unless essential, like in order to avoid reducing fanaticism in the summer. Frustrating again, but that is the idea. Yeah, so his tip there is, make sure you do an offensive in the summer to avoid the fanaticism drop, because you don't want to do that. Okay, thanks again for your comments, Carlos. I did reply to some of them. Sorry I haven't got around to replying to the other ones, but if I speak about them here, like I say, then it shows you that I have read them. I will try and get around to chucking some words down. You almost never got a reply to these ones because I typed out my replies and then for some reason hit cancel rather than reply, and I was like, that's the first thing I was going to say when I come on the video here, but I thought I'll type it out again. It wasn't that much. Yeah. And while we're talking about fanaticism and where it's at, and we know that there's going to be a coup attempt at some point, and I know, and this is only from watching a couple other videos, I suppose, so I don't know if it gives you an explanation in the rules about this, but I certainly know that when it comes to the coup attempt and the Black Orchestra cards, the higher this, the better. Well, I was listening to my podcast today about the history of World War II, and it came out that the attempt on Hitler's life was in the summer of 1944. So I got a bit of a heads up there from my podcast. So my guess is then that surely the event card that triggers this coup attempt is not going to be until 1944. Now, it might not necessarily come in the summer, but my guess is the card's going to be a 1944 card. I could be wrong, that might be changed up. I might get the wrong information, who knows, because we're in 43 just now. So maybe I've got a bit more time just to get this to 9, if I can, We do have there's a project we've got to add that picks it up, but we're starting to struggle with our production and that now, aren't we? But, okay, well, it's nothing more to say, I don't think. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you say about this when I left this, Carlos. I wish I could go back and change this. I really do. Every time I think about it now, I think maybe I should have allowed myself a take back. I think I'd moved on a little bit before I realised how stupid it was. Well, I realised how stupid it was when this isolated marker got put there, because then you're stuck, and now I've got to try and fight my way out of here. I mean, I only need to get myself into Jerusalem to then be able to bail out of there, if you like, but doing that with the cards and all that, I mean, Sonia Blumeda card, yeah, would allow me to do it, but where are we? Did we play Barbarossa? We did, yeah, okay, we did play that, yeah. So I suppose in the fall we could try Sonia Blumeda in the fall. I don't know. I think I need to do that and then get the local offensive card back to try and go into the Middle East, to try and get myself out of there. I think that's the only way to do it, but... okay, well, there's a lot of grief to come before that, because we are in... 2 summer operations. What? Right, hang on. No, Barbarossa's still here, Grant. The card's still there, right, with 3 pawns on it. am I talking about? We've not done it yet. This is the... No, we have done it. Sorry, we have done it. We done okay, I want to say. Did we? Or did we? Yeah, we've moved into Ukraine. I think the only attack... Yeah, one attack was pathetic, wasn't it? Was that not into Leningrad? I think it was, wasn't it? And admittedly, we drew the worst card in the deck. And I think they ended up getting 5 dice against our 3, maybe. And when we're on the attack, we don't get the double hit for the guns, so it's kind of hopeless. But this was successful. And we have achieved the Barbarossa bit. But we do have another operations phase to come, which I think... Yeah, did I not say I would try and push more, try and get into Kharkov? Or... into Kharkov, and then we could maybe take that resource. Yeah, I think that was the thinking. Okay. Right, but we are in the summer of 1943, and the first operations phase of we are in the Western Offensive. Right, and the first thing to check here is going to be a landings check. Right, okay, so we draw a card here, cross-reference the season, the current year, to see if there's a landing. Man, this is in the summer. 1943, so I'm expecting to get one. We could get lucky, I guess. So summer 1943, yeah, we get summer on or fall. So the numbers are, let's get focused in on that, 18, 23, 26, 24. That's the sequence. 18, I think, is Great Britain, isn't it? Yeah, so no go there. And there is a landing marker, right? So, no go in Great Britain. It's got to be neutral or areas neutral. No, what it needs to be neutral, occupied, or satellite area. Yeah, just choose the first neutral, occupied, or satellite area in the landing priority list. Right, so 18 is not any good. The next one is 23. Oh, it's Southern Italy. Where we've nothing. Okay. Right, they're going to land in Southern Italy then. Well, that's the one that's going to then cause Southern Italy to be disputed. So we've got the Occupation of Italy card, which we could play in the fall then. The problem here is they're going to have another operations and then just attack me in Southern Italy, and I've got a movement phase where I can move armies. Yeah, that's the only way of doing it. And I've got these 3 armies that are stuck. Okay, so landing in Southern Italy. Right, what do? We place a Western control disk in the landing sector, and we roll if there's multiple options. Well, there's only one option for Southern Italy, so there's no rolling a dice. So we get a Western control disk into Messina, and basically we get kicked down to Naples, and then move the Axis control disk to the next lower number sector if possible. Place the landing marker. Puts the landing marker, so I'm going to put that directly on Messina. Right, I might be pulled away just now, so hang on a sec, we'll see. Right, no, maybe we're alright. Someday. Right, so the landing marker's going to go on Messina as well. Place the landing marker in the chosen landing sector, and then place a no Western offensive marker in the landing area. That goes there, but then that's just about to get removed at the end of this phase, and then we're going to have a second operations phase, so they are then going to be able to attack us. The good thing is this is all rough, but we need at least an army in there, or they're just going to stroll right through Southern Italy into Northern Italy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all we're doing. And this should become disputed as well, shouldn't it? Did I not say that there? It doesn't say that in the sequence of play cards, but it clearly is a disputed area now. There's no resource to lose, so that's fine. Yeah, I feel like I just want to get this up in the rulebook again, just to be sure. It's fine with the ones that you see all the time, but 4.5.1 on the rulebook, Western Landings. Yeah, if the Western control disc was placed in Sector 1 of the area, place a Western alignment marker, otherwise place a disputed marker, yeah. I don't think it says that on the cards. No, it doesn't. But, I mean, you know, there's only so much you can put on a card when you're looking at sequence of play cards, you know. Move land the marker for the box, no Western. Right, okay. Yeah, that's it done. So this card's away. Let's just hit that. So, well, at least we're not going to get a landing in the fall. Yeah. Okay, good. Right, so combat pawns. And you skip the segment if there's a no Western offensive mark in the operations box. That's if you can get it put up here in the operations box. But the exception as to placing these pawns is do not place an allied combat pawn in an area containing a no Western offensive marker. So yeah, so there's not going to be. But at the end of this phase, is it at the end? Can I get away with it? Maybe could it last for both operations phases? I'm thinking not. Western. Right, hang on. Where does it tell you to move it? Yeah. So you place your pawns. You have your combat, and then when there are no allied combat pawns left on the map, you remove all no Western offensive markers from the map and proceed to the Soviet offensive segment. Yeah, so they are going to get on the second operations phase, which is what I kind of figured. Right, so how many? What are we getting? We're getting disputed in Spain and disputed in Egypt. And then we're getting adjacent in Turkey, and obviously we're not getting southern Italy. And also got to remember that this is reduced to a reduced army because it's isolated. I think that's the only downside. The bigger downside is not being able to get out or in. You know, that's what isolated means, Grant. Who would have thought? Okay, so 3 attacks in the western. One in the western, our air naval controls at 1. The southern, our air naval controls at 2, so not as bad. Like I say, I've got to remember that's does it show this? No, I think I need the rules for that as well. So that's just combat, isn't it? Combat. Access combat roll. Does it tell me here about the isolated? Yeah, if the area is an isolated marker, roll grey combat dice for panzer armies and roll white combat dice for regular armies. Reduced and satellite armies are not affected. So the good thing is, that's still a white dice, that's still a yellow dice. That is, however, a white dice. Rommel, must surely get to upgrade one, no? It doesn't really say, yeah, I don't see that being an issue. So, okay. So we know what Rommel does. Kesselring, we've not got Kesselring anymore. Yeah, that was horrible. I was watching back on we rolled a 6 for somebody else. Who was it? It was Model, yeah. We rolled a 6 for him. So he became a dissident. The first time we rolled for Kesselring, we rolled a 6. He became a dissident. The second time we rolled for Kesselring, we rolled a 6 and he's gone. Now that's been pretty unlucky. I mean, I know there's been some luck back and forward, but that's been a bit nasty, like. But well, it just shows you it can happen, right? Right. So I'm looking at our in command generals there. Just quickly, I've got von Falkenhorst in Spain, who's on the attack, so he's not any good. Von Stupnagel in Turkey, he's actually doing something on the defence, so that's good. And then we've got Rommel, and he does his thing on defence as well. Right, so it's only the Spanish one that's not going to help. Looking at our generals available, I want to say we've got rid of all the 6s, so we've got 4s and 3s. 4s and 3s to choose from. Might not have looked at the 3s, so that's pretty good. Okay, which one first, Grant? Does it matter? This is in rough, this is in rough. They're all in rough, which is good as well. Well, what card was that? Because I would say Spain's a sort of dodgiest one. That was card number 8, which is probably a semi-decent one. So let's pick Egypt. Now hold on. No, we can't retreat now. Because I remember the last time looking at I'm at that bit in the video where I thought, right, I should do Turkey first in case I take a reduction and then there's a space in there for me to retreat from here into here and then retreat from here into here. Maybe, doesn't matter anymore, Grant, because you came out of the Middle East, you goat. Right, okay. I'm just going to do Egypt then. So no OG head. No, we don't need to roll dice, don't we? Yeah, let me get the combat cards up. Right, okay, so draw a combat card. Oh yeah, there might not be a combat, I suppose. There's that possibility. So 1943 Western on the attack. 1943 Western on the attack. That's card number 16. So 2 air rolls and 3 dice. So there is going to be an attack, right? 2 air rolls and 3 dice. Right, we've got Rommel. We don't have an OB. Well, we do have an OB, but you can't do nothing. So Rommel, defending an any. One German army is considered an immediately superior type. So, I can only assume that. Well, now hold on here. Well, can't I say that this is a Panzer army? Because what I'm thinking there is, this is a white army. This is a white army. I can raise... Well, but can I not raise that to grey? He's going to become a white. Can I raise that to grey? Or... What German army in the area is considered of immediately superior type? I'm going to say that's fine. So what I'm going to say is this is a Panzer army. And then when it comes to the fact that it's isolated, this is going to be a regular army. Does that sound right? Or does that sound like something I need to go and look up? Because if I make this a regular army, that's not going to do me any good. Because these are then going to both roll white dice. Well, just do it the way you said, Grant. Make him a Panzer. And it says in the isolated bit, roll grey combat dice for Panzer armies and roll white combat dice for regular armies. Yeah, so in actual fact, it's silly for me to make this a regular army because then I'm going to be rolling a white, and a yellow. Whereas if I make this a Panzer army, I'm going to be rolling a grey, a white, and a yellow. Just as they are there. But that's only because Rommel's chipping in, doing his thing. Okay. That result is not defeated. Let's go back to the available deck. Yeah, yeah, I read that already, and I did sort of wonder here if we could bail him out. I think this is a sort of common sense thing that it's only when you've got him as a leading general that he can go back to available. Doesn't really word it there though. You know, you could see this. I may have spoke about this before. You could see this that say we have this combat here just now. He's our AG head, and if the result is not a defeat, we may move this card back to the available deck, which removes him as the AG head. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, why would you maybe want to do that? Well, I don't know. I mean, this is a mess. But just the wording on the card. You know what? Maybe that is allowed. But I don't know. You probably wouldn't want to do that anyway, would you? I'm going to leave it as is anyway. But okay, so that's our general. No. We need a leading general too, Grant. Now, there's nothing to stop a leading general coming along. I hope. If we're isolated. I don't think so. Leading general. Yeah, nothing springing to mind about being isolated about the leading general, but so we've got 4s or 3s. So let's have a look, and maybe not just grab anybody because we've got two other combats to deal with. To be honest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've only got 8 other generals left, and we've got a whole second operations phase and a fall operations to come. And this is only the start of the Western. We've got Soviet. Yeah, we're going to run out of generals for sure. But and the thing is, you've got to pick one. I can't sort of say, I'm not bother picking one this time. Right, so what we're doing, we're defending and rough against the Western faction. Okay, so I've got on Mackinson. He's going to cancel a tank result. Okay. This is against just the Western faction. Add +1 hit to combat roll for a black and grey tank result. Well, I'm getting 1 there, but am I not? Yeah, because we're doing the Rommel upgrade thing, so I'm only going to be getting 1 there, and I'm going to get none in Spain. Just, I mean, I sort of feel like this might be better used elsewhere, though. Right, and then we've got 2 3s, which we've maybe not seen. Defending in, add +1 hit to the Axis combat roll for every tank result in the Allied combat roll. Okay. What are they rolling? 3 dice, aren't they? So maybe not brilliant. And then the last one, the controlling player may re-roll 1 die in the Allied combat roll and the new result must be applied. Right. Well, there's another guy that's got the situation that I started way back at the beginning, as in I still stick by my guns and say that I'm going to re-roll the Allied combat roll before I roll my dice. Now, I said I was going to do it that way, and there is a benefit to doing it that way regarding, what was it again? Can't remember. There is a benefit to doing it that way as well. I feel like that's how it's written in the rules. Controlling player may reroll 1 die in Allied combat roll. New result must be applied. There's nothing brilliant there, is there? Right, I thought about using this guy at first, but I think because we're only rolling 3 dice, and there's a chance I might be rolling 4 dice at some point. Although I suppose this works against more dice rolls as well. I'm going to use this guy. So we're going to add +1 hit to the Axis combat roll for every, well, it's just a blue tank result in the Allied combat roll. So if they roll a blue tank, if they roll a tank in one of the 3 dice, I'll get a +1 hit. Well, I'll get +1 hit for everyone. But okay, so 4s and 3s. Let me go back. Now that's what we're going for. Right, we've got 2, this is, oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, we've got two air dice to roll first, aren't they? And our air naval controls in the 2 box. So if this gets knocked to the 1 box, they're getting an extra dice. It's even more reason to... Well, I wonder if I should change that one then. Nah, they're pretty much the same, aren't they? The more dice you're rolling, the more chance you've got of them rolling tanks. One of them cancels only 1 though. This one gives me more hits. Yeah, okay, hang on then. Maybe I do prefer the other guy. Cancel 1. Mind you, that might be better if you get an attack in planes though, because you're cancelling a tank in planes. It's far better, isn't it? Yeah, well, okay, we'll just stick with what we've got, right? So they've got 2 air dice to roll first. And, yeah, if they will roll at least 1 aircraft, 2 tanks. That's a result for us. I wouldn't mind seeing 2 tanks in their row as well, because I've played that guy. Right, so the air naval control's not moving down to 1. Okay, that's fine. We are defending a ROF. Yeah, so they're not getting extra dice for that. There's no +1 here. So yeah, so they're just getting the 3 dice. And remember, we'd like to see tanks results from them. So here's the 3 dice. Yeah, well, there's no tanks, but it's not. Well, it's gonna be 2. It's gonna be 2 hits, isn't it? And they're going to get an extra dice for the next one. Okay, so I think we're up against 2 hits. Alright, so let's see. So this guy done nothing for us, unfortunately. Right, so Rommel's going to upgrade this to a Panzer Army, but because we're isolated, we're going to roll 1 grey, 1 white, 1 yellow dice. However, we are defending in rough, which gives us an extra white dice. And the guns will work for us this time. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. So what did I say? They've got 2 hats, so we need 3 hats out of our 4 dice. There we go. Oh, we've got it. I'm just thinking, for some reason I thought we needed 4. It didn't look like a good roll, but it's this one that saved us. So 2 blanks and 3 hats. Yeah, we got away with it. Okay. Okay, so no events. Well, we got 2 blanks, so get rid of them. The air hat takes our air naval control and the still in front down to 1. That deals with that, and then that then just becomes a hat because they only do that once. However, they've got 2 hats, we've got 3 hats. We succeed. So basically nothing happens. Combat card goes away. Rommel goes back in command, and this guy who didn't actually help us has been activated, so he goes away. That was that. Okay. So Turkey now, they're going to get an extra dice this time. Let me just think about this. Defending and rough. Hang on. Right, I think I'm going to go for Spain then. See if we can maybe avoid the combat. Because one Falcon Horse, I don't think was helping us, was he? No, Stupenagel was, but I don't think he does. Right then, let's go for it. So we are defending on rough. So, combat card, Western faction 1943 on the attack. Oh, we get lucky. We've chose it right. Card number 4. So, man, I'm saying this is lucky. I think so, because this was a weaker defence. So it's a strategic event. I mean, they're not generally good, but at least it's no combat. There's no combat dice there, so... Right, so strategic event. Oh my god, there's only 2 cards left. I don't know if we've seen some of these. I might go down the bottom, so we might have seen this before. We haven't. Don't tell me. Oh, this. The White Rose. I wonder what reference that is. Some of y'all know, won't they? It's like that girl's wearing a white rose in the picture. Anyway, Unrest +1. That's it. The card goes away. It's done its thing. That's the wrong box grant. So, the White Rose. Unrest, and it's really hit at a hard time. So, Unrest +1. That goes into 3. That drops to 6. And that goes back to 0. So, that was not a good timing. But, yeah, well. Right, well, that was all on the combat card. No combat. Card goes away. That's that done. Right, well, we've got to deal with Turkey now. So, going to draw a combat card for Turkey. Western faction, 1943 on the attack. Yeah, 2 air rolls and 3 dice again. So, similar to what we had. Right, so... And this time our air naval controls in the 1, so they're going to get 4 dice rather than 3. Right, so we got von Stuppenagel. Well, he's got a chance of cancelling an air result, which is automatically going to be a hit. So at least there's that. So that's something at least. Yeah, I'm no OB. So, right, let's find a general that's going to help. What are we going to be rolling? A grey and 3 white. Remember, we're going to get an extra white dice for that. So, grey and 3 white, but they're going to get 4 dice because their naval control values where it is. In fact, there's no point us rolling the 2 air results because it's at 1. So we don't need to do that. So they're just going to roll 4 dice. We can cancel an aircraft. And we're going to roll 4 dice as well. So I'd still like somebody. I think he's helpful. And there's one other guy. There's a guy that can re-roll an allied 1 die in the allied combat roll. It's just tempting. And then we've got add +1 hat to that's the combat roll for every black tank or grey tank. Well, I'm only rolling 1 grey dice. Or we've got that one. Cancel 1. That might be the safer one to pick because we're cancelling an aircraft. As long as we get 1 tank, that means we're cancelling 2 of his 4 dice. I think that might be the better one. Rerolling 1 of the dice is pretty good as well, but no, I think I'm going to go for von Mackensen. Yeah, so defending in any, cancel 1 blue tank result in the allied combat roll. So we're cancelling a tank and an aircraft with our 2 generals. Like I say, there's no point in me rolling the 2 air results because our air naval control's in the 1 box anyway. So they are going to roll, well, should be 3 dice, but however, air naval controls in the 1 box. They're the Western faction. It's not the Winter, so they get an extra dice. So they're rolling 4. Right, let's hope we see 1 aircraft and 1 tank. Well, at least 1 of them. Well, a combat event and a hit or something like that. There we go. Right, well, we've not got the aircraft. We do have the tank and the event, so... Yeah, it's going to be 2 hits, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So, yeah, it looks like we're looking at 2 hits because, like I say, we can cancel the tank. That's an event. 2 hits. Right, we're rolling 1 grey, 2 white, and then 1 extra white because we're defending in rough. And we need to beat 2 hits, so we need 3 hits again, at least. Got the guns. Oh, yeah, just. Oh, I thought that wasn't enough. Right, it is. Right, but we're going to have 2 events, aren't we? So we've got 2 as well, but they can only be a maximum of 2. Okay. Right, so that's the result. I'll do the events first, but we should be winning this unless the events cause trouble. Right, so first combat event card. There's only 3 of them left as well, which might have seen them going cycling down the bottom. No retreat. No, I don't think we have seen this. If the Axis is attacker, or the combat result is victory, put down the bottom. Yeah, well, I think we're... Well, no, we're not the attacker. But I think the combat result is victory. And the reason I think it is because we've still got to draw another event. And there is a chance that it might give them a hit. The Axis faction cannot retreat in the current combat. Apply all hits as reductions. Yeah, we've seen this card before. Then it goes to the new year. Well, I think it's going to just go down the bottom. But I think I need to wait and draw the second event before I can confirm that. Okay? So I'll just set that aside just now. So that's the first of our 2 events. Remember, we can only have 2, so I might as well take one of these away. So for the second event, and it wouldn't be drawing the same card because there is 2 cards left here. I'm drawing 1. 20. Oh, this is a good one for us, isn't it? But I think it's only against the Soviets. If USSR is not at war. If the combat is with the Western faction, put down the bottom. Cancel 1 hit from... Yeah, so this doesn't count. We want this against the Soviets, which we might see. My issue here now is which one goes down the bottom first. I think the fact that I've had to draw this card, then because I drew this one first, this goes down the bottom first. And then this one goes down the bottom. Thing is, when I draw this next, it's more likely I'm going to be against the Soviets. Oh, that may be bad, Grant. And this is good against the Soviets, isn't it? Cancel 1 hit. Well, I think I've got to put... This is the first one I drew. I had to draw this first just to confirm that it was going to be a victory for us, which it is. So this is going to go down the bottom first, and then this is going to go down the bottom second. We've still got 1 other card in the deck, so there's 3 cards. I'll just forget, because I'm coming to a close here anyway, so I'm going to just forget all that. So that's the other event, and yeah, just to confirm that it is a victory, because they're showing 4 hits, but this guy cancels a tank, so then we've got 3 against their 2. Okay, so we win. That comes away. Combat card goes away. Von Stupnagel goes back in command, and this guy's done his thing. He goes away. Activated. Yeah, not many generals left. Right, that is the Western offensive of the first operations phase of the summer of 1943. And because there's no pawns left, that now comes off. And then we move into the Soviet offensive. Yeah, I'm 48 minutes, and I probably could linger about a little bit longer, but I don't think I want to get into the Soviet stuff just yet. I think I'll wait till the next chance I get, which might well be tomorrow, to be honest. Last day of my work tomorrow. I think I mentioned I'm off for... It's almost 4 weeks, actually. I've done that the last couple of years with my holidays, but I think I said this already, but nothing major planned, but I'm sure we'll be trying to do some stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so about to move into the Soviet offensive. Yeah, okay. I'll hopefully get back to it tomorrow. Okay, cheers.